Scream Queens.
Welcome to Screen Queens. This is the podcast where two comedians watch, review, and gossip about everything on your screens. My name is Alex J. I'm a comedian, writer, and podcast producer.
And, oh, wow, she went on the high note.
Yeah,
Mariah
she
Carey.
went up an octave, baby.
And I'm Beck Charwood. I am a comedian, writer, and what's a new thing that I did this week? A lady about town. I've been out of my house for a lot of time. When I say house, I'm still in Melbourne, by the way, to catch everyone up. Still here for another week. Mm-hmm. And I am leaving the house at like 7 a.m. and then not getting back till like 11.
Dude, that's crazy. Are you
I'm
getting
sick.
kidnapped every day?
I'm getting very ill.
That's nuts. Okay. And it's like cold and stuff. So like, good for you.
I feel it's making me stronger though as a person in general, but it has meant that everything I'm going to talk about that I've watched this week, I watched it in a weird fever dream from the time that I wash my face. I come home, wash my face, lie down, have digestive biscuits for dinner, and then pass out as I'm watching something. So I might not be the most clear and cohesive about my thoughts and feelings.
Hey, that's
on
fine.
what we discuss.
Look, the show, the thing we're reviewing today is very much, it's vibes anyway, right?
True.
It's all vibes. So we'll talk vibes.
But before we get into that, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Eagerly awaiting your return to Sydney. So you're coming up this weekend for a little jaunt back to Melbs on Monday and then back to Sydney for good next weekend. Can't wait. It's been so long.
It does feel like cheating going back this weekend. Like
Yeah.
But I am going back for a gig. I'm not just giving up and be like, I can't handle it anymore. I bought a nice big coat and a scarf. I'm comfy down here, all right? I'm accustomed to it. I could stay and I would be fine.
Gorgeous Melbourne attire. Big coat, scarf. Gorgeous. Well, we can't wait to see you back here on our shores of Sydney. Bondi shores, I guess. That's the closest shore.
I'm excited to look at the ocean. Haven't seen the ocean in a minute. Or any body of water apart from the Yarra River, which, no offense, is...
Sorry. If it's not legal because of health reasons to swim in it, it doesn't count.
Yeah. And you can technically swim in Sydney Harbour, but we advise against it.
I think it's illegal.
Yeah.
Well,
wait, is it illegal to swim in the harbour in Sydney?
Let's go find out.
I know there's parts of it. They
Come
started
on,
that
everyone,
like
we're
weird inner city beach thing where apparently you can swim, but I don't trust it. Oh, before we get into the big thing that we're talking about today, have you watched anything else on the sidelines you would like to talk to the listeners about?
No, I've been very, very time poor lately. I've not watched anything recreationally, TBH. What about you?
Still kicking on with... Did I talk about The Boys last week?
You did.
I think I did.
And since you mentioned it... No, you talked about it on the Patreon.
But
since
yes.
you've mentioned it, about 50,000 other people have recommended it to me as well,
Oh,
approximately.
I don't know. You wouldn't like it. You would not like. I don't think you would.
Okay.
It's superhero, so it's kind of...
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's really dark and violent.
Oh, okay. Why did I think it was a comedy?
It is funny. Oh, it's funny because
Okay.
it's a really dark comedy. It's like, did you ever see Watchmen?
No.
I don't. I'd look. Give it a go, but my feeling is that if you and Luke start it, Luke will love it, and you will then just have to hear about the boys.
That's fine. I feel so bad when I have to dip out of a show that we've started together because I'm just not into it. Like, unfortunately, do you know what's happened with Fallout? We've watched a couple more episodes and I enjoy it when I'm in there, but when it's suggested to me, I can think of like so many more other things I feel like watching at that time.
Okay. That's
do you know what I have realized? And I had a long think on my run this morning about this and I came up with this solution or conclusion.
Who are you, Michelle Bridges?
Yes, I am.
Fittest girl alive?
I'm starting a fitness app. I'm a runner now. And I was thinking that because I so enjoyed Bridgerton, enjoyed Bridgerton.
Great.
And haven't enjoyed Fallout and all this, and I don't think I would like The Boys. And I think I'm currently in a non-action era for my media viewing enjoyment. I'm really just out of the action, any violence, gunshots, that kind of stuff. Not about it. I like those, the people. It's about the people and the stories.
Okay, you would hate nothing more than the boys.
Than the boys?
You would, oh my God.
So as soon as you said that, I was like, well, that coincides quite nicely with my theory I discovered this morning.
Look, I'm not going to stop you, of course. You're your own free woman. But my advice would be, watch it on your own and then see how you feel. And
invite
then
Luke into the fold if I so wish.
Yeah.
But today,
oh my God, we're finally talking about it.
Part 2 of season 3, Bridgerton, has dropped. So we did the first 4 eps a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And now we are doing eps 5 through 8, part 2, which dropped just recently over the last week.
Which I cannot believe that there is 8 episodes. It feels like there is. It's so jam-packed. It goes so quickly.
Do you feel that there's more than 8 or less?
I feel like there should have been 2 more, or maybe even 1 more.
It has gone quite quickly.
It was really condensed, this like next part, and I want everyone to know I still fucking love this show. Okay, we are not I'm not going to bag on this show. I think it's a perfect, wonderful show, but I do feel like this second part was a bit of a whirlwind, and I would love to have an opportunity to watch it again and to fully dissect, because there was so many meaty big topics that just like flew in and like hit me over the head, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about, oh God, okay, they're doing it again. Oh, okay, now we're talking about women's role in society. Oh, now it's generational trauma. Oh my God, now it's back to romance. Like, it was really full on.
Whereas I feel like so if anyone didn't listen to our first part recap, I haven't
What are you
seen
doing? Go back, listen to it.
It's so fun and sexy and horny. I haven't seen other seasons. This is my first season. But I do feel like, now that you've mentioned it, the first part kind of had just like the one main storyline they were following, which was Penelope and Colin getting together. But yeah, you're right. This second part has like 50 different moving storylines that they like really focus on, all of them a lot.
Yeah, they get into them.
Yeah. Shall we get into it?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so again, my context of watching this is late at night. I watched the first 2 episodes the day it came out, and then the next night, late at night, watched the next 2. And that was literally a week ago. So I am a little bit shady on some of these details. So I may need you to walk me through reminders of things that
as we said at the top of the app, this show is vibes. We're talking vibes.
Yes. First, I mean, speaking of vibes, the most important vibe in it is the Colin and Penelope love story.
Yes.
Let's get it straight into that. How did you feel about the outcome of this?
I was really happy about it. Again, I'm still learning the world. So the fact that they announced their engagement the day after the carriage fingering, I was like, whoa.
Not the day after. Straight after.
Night off.
Night on, he like literally
had not
slipped
even
a finger in her and
yet.
then slipped a ring on her finger. You know, like, it was crazy how fast that happened. And it went from literally in the space of, I'm going to say real time, maybe 30 minutes, they went from friends to lovers to engaged.
You're right. It's jam-packed. Literally from the first scene, we're hit with a really big storyline. Like I assumed the rest of this season would be them just kind of courting each other, and there might be an engagement, or even just
having a sneaky little crush and smooches and running around.
Secret affair, yeah.
But and I really did like, though, that when we saw Penelope going into the house, it's like she was fully disassociating, just being like, what is happening? This is all too much.
But I did love how happy the whole family was for them. The Bridgertons, gosh, they're just the ideal family, aren't they?
Just perfect in every goddamn fucking way.
Fucking supportive. Like,
it's also crazy. They start like, you know, in their teenage years looking like, you know, maybe like 6s out of 10. And then all of a sudden, when it's their time to fall in love, they turn into absolute 10s. That's crazy. I hope for my family, you know, the same.
As do I. That's what we all want in life.
I really loved, because I remember saying in the first part that I was like, I don't know if they're going to end up together. When she reveals that she's Whistledown, or he finds out, that's going to be a big blow up. And I was really worried. I think in my heart of hearts, I really did want them to end up together, but I didn't want to hope. And I think it's because I've watched too many things that are for the male gaze, and at the end of the day it's like, that's right, women, you can't actually have everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they ended up together at the end, I was like, oh, thank God they let her have everything.
What?
You never see it. They let
Since
her have
when?
everything, and I fucking love that. And I think it was really like groundbreaking TV when it comes to making television for women specifically.
Couldn't have said it better myself, my love. This fucking show, I have never consumed media that is so more for the female gaze than this show. And it's quite confronting a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like you, sometimes you expect that the bad thing will happen, or that, say, the male gaze version of the thing will happen, and you constantly met with it doesn't. And it's really unnerving to watch. And
This
get
idea
used
that
to.
I think we're constantly fed in media. It's like, oh, yes, you can be beautiful, but there has to be, you know, a punishment for that, or, you know, like something paid for that. It's like, oh, you can be really successful at your job, but, you know, that means that another thing
Boys
will fall
won't
down.
like you.
Your
Yeah.
your boys won't like you. And it's like, oh, you can be smart, but people will find that really annoying. And it's always these caveats to anything good that happens to women.
It's a
And
yes,
this
but.
show still managed to have the conflict of like, this could end really badly, but then tied it off so nicely of like, through communication and discussion.
That's it.
And,
That's why.
yes, and love and appreciation and understanding. It's like, you can actually have everything that you want.
If you're just a good person and talk to people about your shit.
Yes,
And
and
work
honest
it
and
out.
make people feel seen. And I also really love that a really real thing they did was her explaining to Colin, of him being like, well, if like I'm not taking care of you, then it's like, who am I? And she's like, you're enough, like, is what you are.
Oh, that scene at the end, that scene when they finally kind of like make up, and she's just, you know, announced to the world, or to the Ton, that she is, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they have a scene. And that is the epitome of a female gaze scene to me, because in it, finally we hear a man admit that he was uncomfortable with her being Whistledown, aside from all of the personal stuff, but also because he was just envious of her success. He said that. It started as envy. But now I realize I don't have to be envious. The fact that I get to be with someone so strong and so successful and so talented makes me the luckiest man in the world.
Oh my God, that was so sexy.
And he said, and how lucky he is to be loved by someone so strong and brave, and to soak up even a little bit of her light.
I'm going to come. I'm going to come. That was the sexiest part of the show. I mean, look, the carriage scene, yes. And then that scene,
Yes,
second
of course.
to it.
But genuinely, because like you just don't hear that in media and film and TV, unless it's being portrayed as like he's the cuck, or he's a simp, or he's the nerd that she, you know, the best friend that she didn't see until too late, you know, all that kind of shit. Instead, he's just a fucking emotionally intelligent man who understands that being with a successful partner makes his life better. It's not a competition. And so often it's touted as a competition.
Yes, a rising tide raises all ships, you know?
I love that.
And I don't know if that's quite applicable to this, but it sounded cool, didn't it?
That's what it sounded really cool. And I'm going to still deliver that.
What did you think about the relationship between Penelope and her mum?
Very interesting. Very fraught. Gosh, they went through an arc in this second part of this season, didn't they?
I really loved the discussions they had.
Yes.
That was...
Yes.
To me, I was like, I wanted more episodes so we could have kind of separated the two plots, because they happened on top of each other. And for me, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about complicated mother-daughter relationships and generational trauma, and being raised in, you know, different generations of feminism as well. And we have different ideas of what feminism is. So, you know, I just have a little bit of emotion tied up in that.
Just a tiny bit of an intrigue. Just an intellectual interest, nothing more.
An entree, an accoutrement. And so to go from wild romance to that, it was a little bit difficult because I was at one point going through a lot of my own personal shit and then trying to be like, oh, now I'm horny. Oh God. Oh God. I would have liked the pacing of those spread out just a touch would be my one major note.
Absolutely. So would you say the two main storylines are finding out who Whistledown is and the development of Colin and Penelope's relationship and their wedding and stuff?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Or is there another plot that...
Yeah.
I mean, there's several more.
There is several more that I feel like they focused on a bit more in this second part, which I was saying before. Like, I feel like we focused more on, what's his name? Benedict, the horny bisexual man.
Yeah.
Which, God, that scene. Again, female gaze.
Girl,
when he realizes...
That woman is so beautiful.
She is like... So there's a scene where Benedict kind of learns that he might be interested in men, and he has a three-way with his, friends with benefits and another man. And it's done so tastefully and so romantically. And I was watching being like, oh my, I was like, get it, boys, get it. And all of the reactions that she was feeling and showing, just like being like, she was like respecting them for it and she respected him for it. I was just like, yes, that's me. I'm right there with her. It's just for the ladies. It's just for the ladies.
We love watching boys have a little kiss, and I think that's cute. And I think that they allowed this to happen in a way that was romantic, and that's what we want at the end of the day.
How did they know?
They know us so well.
How did they know? I have to say I had a lot of anxiety around
the logistics of a threesome. I mean, yeah, it's...
Can you walk me through it?
I've never had a threesome.
Said that like
honored that you think I
I
have. Thank you. I had a lot of endeavors, but I haven't, delved into that
stuck
just
the landing.
yet.
Look, the anxiety around just Penelope hiding the secret of being Whistledown from Colin.
Yeah.
Hiding secrets is just my actual worst nightmare of anxiety. Like, and she was just so fine with it a lot of the time and was just being so happy and lovely, and I was almost having a panic attack for her.
Yeah, it felt like they really segmented her anxiety into like 3 scenes of like the engagement and then that party and then when she was just about to tell him. And something people need to talk about more with Nicola Coughlan is that she can really evoke anxiety so well as a character. I think it harkens back to her character of Claire at Derry Girls, which just every moment on screen, it just makes you panic. She's just so like here at all times. She's just so like tense and stressed. And she acted it perfectly.
That's so good. Something that I felt was really good with the storytelling is that I did spend most of the first episode just being like, she should just stop being Whistledown. Like, I don't understand why she keeps being Whistledown. Like, she could just quit and, and then everything would be okay. But the beautiful way that they went through the reasoning of why she can't give up being Whistledown for the feminism of it all.
Yeah, and the sense of purpose.
And explaining that, because of the time, obviously, that they're in, women don't have any power. And she found something that actually gives her... As soon as she said the word power, I was like, oh, bitch, you be Whistledown to the day you die. I'm so sorry I ever thought that you should stop.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you were like, I just give up. I'm like, no, you
just
can't.
As in, like, because of my anxiety, I was just like, if you just stop it, that'll make it okay. And then he'll forgive you for lying to him for so long and all this stuff.
My thing was, like, dump him. Like, there'll be others. I was like, break up with him, babe. Keep being Whistledown. Like, you're what? Like, in this, she's like 26. And they're like, she'll basically pass away. Like, she doesn't get a husband. Well, I think they played that so well of showing Cressida's story. Actually, that comes pretty close to the third storyline, if not second in all of this.
Big time.
Of showing a woman who had no power and no sense of self. And how it affected her life and how, because she didn't put time in to, have something outside of herself, how all of her options and choices were just completely taken away from her.
When it was being explained to her what her life would be like if she was to marry that old man from the beginning. Fucking terrifying.
Dude.
And I know this is in a world that doesn't exist, but that existed, and that's so scary.
Of him being like, I would like at least 5 children. Oh, can't you be dead soon?
And he's like, we're not going to any parties. You'll barely leave the house. I would have done something drastic too.
Yeah.
This whole double Whistledown thing, that was very exciting.
That was cool. That was a twist I was not expecting.
Yes.
And I loved that. That scene was so stressful.
It was just like, because this is such a small world and small town, I was like, this double Whistledown thing, this is going to be talked about for years.
Yeah. I also liked as well how sassy, you could tell the writers really got into that plot line of like, yeah, you can't just wake up and write, bitch.
Yeah.
I could feel them just like really putting their back into the pen and be like, yeah, you can't just fucking wake up one day and write something that captivates people. Yeah. There's an art to it, motherfucker.
Love that.
What did we think of? I can't believe we haven't talked about this sooner. The mirror scene.
Mirror scene, remind me. Someone get fingered on a
sex
mirror?
scene. The scene where they fuck. Are you serious?
Oh, sorry.
On the couch. She fully gets her baps out in the mirror.
Okay. They look in a lot of mirrors in this show, Beth.
That's true.
If you said the mirror sex scene, yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. One of the most tasteful sex scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. I you know what, actually, I understand why when I said mirror scene, you were kind of like, what? To me, I was like, this is good. It pales in comparison to the carriage, though.
Yeah, interesting.
Surprisingly, it didn't make me feel anything, really.
And that's okay.
Thank you.
I loved that there was vintage consent yet again.
You love a bit of vintage consent. You don't hear about it enough.
Yeah. He said to her, you must tell me to stop if you do not wish for this.
Which, boys, take note. Bring
That's what I
that
want.
into the bedroom to drive your lady wild.
Verbatim, please. Yeah, okay, so it didn't quite. Do you think it's because the carriage scene had so much tension and excitement leading up to it?
And there was a certain like forbidden element to it. Whereas this kind of like, I think because it also came off the back of her being really stressed and overwhelmed about the engagement and him being like, oh, this is where we're going to live. And then her all of a sudden like being undressed by him. To me, I was like, oh, no, she needs a nap. She needs to
give
process
her a fucking
this.
second.
Yeah, I can't imagine being that horny after being that stressed and overwhelmed. Like,
Oh, my body would crash.
I'm like,
You need a nap.
Yeah, I would not open like a flower. I would it would be like, oh, sorry. No, it's fine. I think actually, can we just hang out can we just chill for a second?
Let's just chat. Let's talk about the ring. Let's talk about some, let's talk about where we're going to live.
Yeah.
I would not open like a flower. I wouldn't, let alone a delicate flower. Like, she was such a delicate flower.
Oh, she was stunning. They were both so sexy in it.
Very soft lighting.
Yes. Oh, my God. And she wasn't lying about those perfect titties, can I say?
She backed it up with facts.
Yeah.
She backed that claim
Two
up with
big facts.
I love that she made that statement, I think, before this dropped. And so she was like, I imagine you just wait. You'll see.
Yeah. For anyone who hasn't seen it, there's a great clip of her at one of the presses being like, I think it's really powerful. There's not a lot of people, with my, body type represented. It's like there's not a lot of representation there for people with perfect tits. I have a question as well about that scene because it goes for 7 minutes and everyone was going off and being like, oh my God, it's a 7-minute sex scene. He is actually they're actually only having the actual intercourse for like, I'm going to say like 30 seconds and then he finishes.
Yeah.
Did you clock that?
I did. Yeah. I didn't realize people were saying it's a really long sex scene. That didn't translate for me at all.
Yeah. For me, I was like, there was a couple of pumps and he was done.
It's an appropriately timed sex scene for these generation, I imagine.
Maybe, but he's done heaps of sex. Like we've seen
done
him
heaps of sex.
do threesomes, and like he's been pumping it for ages, dude. And so,
Well, maybe he's just because you do heaps of sex doesn't mean you're good at it.
true.
And I think that
Maybe he's just so overcome with the passion and his affection for her. But I think that's also what made the scene for me. I was like, if that was me, I'd be like, that's it. I've been wanting to fuck you literally since I was born. Okay.
she kind of does, doesn't she? She's like, let's do it again. And he's like,
yeah, and he's
5 minutes.
like, oh, in a little bit. I was like, the length of like a web series, like a bad web series, and you're done. Not even like an episode. Like, okay.
Well, I mean, she's got them titties. How's it,
That's true. They're driving
What's a
me
man to
wild.
do? What's a man to do?
Have you seen the pictures of her Skims campaign?
No.
Oh, look them up now. I want to see your live reaction. They are so pretty.
Nicola. Oh, stop.
It's like artsy. It's almost like a Renaissance
God, she looks
painting.
like a fairy.
Yeah.
She looks like an actual fairy.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well directed.
The one of her
Love
like
that.
lying diagonally. I'm like, oh my God.
She looks
She's
like a
such a
mermaid.
stunning body.
She really does. She could rest her chin on them things. Gorgeous.
Also, one thing that I think I also really like seeing the Skims campaign because the cut of the Regency dresses stresses me out so much. The right underneath the titties and then
can't.
straight down.
And I was thinking about it last night when I was watching the finale. Like, you just know that in this actual period, there would have been like no give. I don't know if elastic existed. Like it would be just so that just no give on your ribs. So if you are full, if you have a big meal, if you need to take a deep breath, it would be so painful.
Even with the corsets too. And also I'm like, why are you putting on corsets? You don't need a waistline for these dresses.
We can't see it.
Can't see them. Get bloated as fuck. Who cares?
There's another B plot storyline is Franchesca, the sister, and her journey with her partner.
Yes. What's his name? Lord Mr. Sterling.
Yeah.
That was really cute. She's
I like
so
them.
pretty.
Can't hear anything she says.
Like-
I just get like static. She's so perfect, glass skin. Like,
Oh my God. Like a doll. Like, you
Yeah.
know the video clip for Murder on the Dance Floor? How you're like, you're a doll. You're not a real person. What's happening? It's like that level of beautiful. Of like, how are you moving right now? With like,
so true.
aren't you just all synthetic, like perfectly constructed in a lab? What's happening?
I don't get it. It's rude, but I'm here for it. It makes my eyes feel nice. And, quick question. So right at the end with them, as they're heading off to Scotland, and his cousin joins them,
Yes.
there seems to be a
Michaela
bit of
Sterling.
tension between the cousin
Yes.
and Franchesca. Do you know what that's about?
Yes, I do. And unfortunately, there is what I think is a bit of bullshit around it circulating on the internet. So basically, because you know how Violet Bridgerton the whole time is like, oh, I don't understand this. Like, you guys aren't like passionately fucking in the bushes or whatever. That's what real love is when you just basically shit yourself and lose all your senses when you see someone. You basically have a stroke, and that's what love is, right? Which is, go off. That's why we watch this show. That's the kind of love that we want.
True.
And so she's confused about their connection, and because she's like, I don't know if this is a love match. And Francesca's like, but this works for me. I like this. He's the person that makes me feel most comfortable. And then Violet's like, okay, I forgive you. Then at the very end, when she like loses her ability to speak, when talking to Michaela, it's kind of showing that it's like, oh, this is like the fireworks feeling of romance.
She's feeling for the cousin.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I did. Oh, wow. Interesting. I didn't clock that at all. I knew something was going on, but I was like, is there history between them I'm not privy to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I did notice that when she kissed for their wedding, she seemed very unimpressed with the kiss. You could tell that she was hoping there'd be a spark, and there wasn't.
I think they're going to be great friends. I think that. But yeah, and it's that kind of made sense now then when Michaela Sterling came along. The controversy is that in the books that Bridgerton is based on, it's Michael Sterling and it is his cousin, and eventually what happens is I don't want to spoil it for you because I spoiled it for myself by looking into it.
Oh, okay.
Franchesca and Lord Sterling, the OG Sterling. Let's go with the OG Sterling. Their relationship ends and then she pursues a relationship with Michael Sterling.
Oh,
and they end up together. But everyone online is pissed at Shonda Rhimes for making this a queer relationship.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Interesting.
People are just like, oh, why would you make them a queer relationship? Which I personally think is bullshit. Do you think we've gotten to season 3 of Bridgerton where they are doing orchestral covers of Pitbull songs, of Taylor Swift songs. All right, there are people of all races and backgrounds and abilities.
And another thing, if I could just point out to the unrealisticness of this time, the makeup is fucking gorgeous. They didn't have cream eyeshadow back then. They didn't have contour sticks.
They didn't have dewy facial spray, okay?
We realize this is not... Yeah, please, proceed.
Yes, and so this is... this show is not beat for beat what the books are, okay? It is taking modern liberties to make the show more accessible and enjoyable and inclusive for a modern audience. And if you, got into season 3 and didn't think, if you saw the threesome, if you saw the open relationship situation and didn't think that we were going to see another queer relationship pop up in this series, you're a dumbass.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're dumb.
If anything, I'm surprised there's not another one on top of it. Have we had any queer relationships in the first 2 seasons?
Oh, Benedict has already had like a kind of a flirty, I think he kissed a boy. No, someone else did.
Happy for him.
Someone else kissed a boy. Another man, by the way. There's been a couple of kisses of boys in general in the series.
Yeah. They love smooching in this show.
Yeah, there's been multiple, alluding to queer relationships.
If I had clocked that's what it was when I watched it last night, I wouldn't have batted an eyelid because, I would expect, to be honest, that there would be some kind of queer relationship situation going on. So they'll probably, the writers and Shonda were probably like, guys, season 3, we haven't had one yet. Let's make something.
So to me, the whole backlash of being like, you've ruined this series, how dare you, is really, because Bridgerton has always been so inclusive. And every season gets more and more diverse with their characters, whether it's like race or neurodivergence or ability. And that's why I think what makes the show so magical is it takes something that is outdated and makes it modern. And for people to be upset about it, I think is just like, you're missing the point. You're missing the whole point of what makes this show enjoyable and exciting and beautiful to watch.
Exactly. Well said, my love.
Thank you. I'm very passionate about this show. I really love it.
I'm growing super passionate about it, especially after this second part. Whew, yeah. I felt empowered after watching this. Just me finally understanding that she needed the recognition for being Whistledown, because I had just assumed that being Whistledown was a huge shame because it was such a secret. And now that the second part has dropped, I realize it's not a shame at all. She's very, very, very proud of it. It just has to be a secret because of what it is.
Is she making money from it? Damn.
And she's making money from it.
Bank.
It's so fucking cool. I just love everything that they, and her big speech. Obviously, she's such a good speaker because she's such a good writer. And again, it comes back to what we said at the top of the app. The communication in this show is fantastic because they've got nothing else to do except talk.
Yeah, they don't have iPhones. They don't have iPads in a better time.
They've all got faces that have seen Instagram. Wait, what's that thing? She knows what Instagram is? She's got a face
that's seen Instagram, yeah.
That's seen Instagram. Thank you. That was my boomer corner for today.
No.
Oh, can I just, on this same vein, the storyline about how when Colin finds out that Cressida blackmails and bribes or blackmails them, and Colin's like, no, you ladies sit the fuck down. I'm a man. I'm gonna go fix this with this big bravado.
That was so cool. Where she Penelope's like, I actually have a really good solution to this that everyone wins, and
Like,
she's
oh,
actually going to
if
go
you-
to Independence and leave us alone.
Actually, if you just listen to no, and he storms out with his big manness, and he makes it worse.
Makes it twice as worse, literally.
He has to come back, and again, female gaze. It's written through the female gaze. He comes back with his tail between his legs, and he actually admits, "Yeah, look, I fucked up and I made it worse."
Yeah.
And look, then they moved on. But I loved that, and I think that's perfect because that happens so often in
Yes.
female-male dynamics.
Yeah, that was such a sick scene. I really, really like that. Showing that women's autonomy is so important.
And just, conflict resolution can be done calmly and through words and doesn't have to come with big bravado and fucking ultimatums and all this stuff like that boys seem to love so much.
Yeah, and power isn't the loudest and most confident person in the room, which is something I'm yet to learn. But gosh, when I do, when I don't need to yell in every conversation, that's going to be a big day, I think, for everyone. Working in an office for 6 weeks, do you know the number of times in a day where I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I needed to say that so loudly and over the top of you. That was so rude.
Speaking of loud, we got a little shout out on the No Dribble podcast recently. So this is the podcast by Liz Ellis, Kath Cox, and Carolyn Swindle, who is a comedian that we know. And they saw our reel with you explaining how you used to play netball by screaming at the opponents.
Yeah.
And they chatted about it. And they used it as a bouncing off point for discussion in a recent episode.
And did Liz Ellis say, actually, this is the smartest tactic I've ever seen? I don't know
haven't
why
listened.
I didn't incorporate that when I was on the court. And Liz, if you are listening, I'm more than happy to sit down and talk you through my methods, how close to scream, how loud to scream. And I'll do it also free of charge just for you, babe.
That's
So
incredible.
Call me out.
I think if what I saw in just an email chain, I think the quote from Liz Ellis was, "Make Beck Charwood the new chair of Netball Australia." So I think she's going
Okay,
to abdicate her
okay.
chair and give it to you.
whoa. All right, ladies, get ready. I'm going to change the uniform, and guess what? I'm going to make it even sexier.
Guess what? Make the nails longer. Let's
Yeah.
get dirty
Get
with
the
this.
claws out. Oh my God, don't tape up your earrings. In fact, spiky long ones. Let's get aggressive.
Oh dear.
Is there any other thoughts or feelings you have about Bridgerton? Are you going to go back and watch season 2?
No, I was thinking about this, and I think I don't want to watch stuff that I know the outcome of.
Okay, you don't want to feel joy. Interesting.
Yeah, if anything.
No, kidding. Yeah, it would feel
boring.
weird to go back when you know.
I quite enjoy the excitement of not knowing of this season. Obviously, that's how people watch things. Yeah. Do you have anything else you'd like to say? I have obviously could talk about this for hours, but I just love it. I think it's a great show.
I really love it. I also have to shout out to, I think, one of the most beautiful moments that I was not expecting after Penelope does her, yes, I'm Whistledown speech, when her sister goes, "Now, Varley, the bugs."
The bugs!
I teared up. I was like, her sisters love and accept her and are proud of her.
And she was doing that because she knew that the tension was in the air and something needed to break it. And she's like, let's get some fucking butterflies out. And I love the dynamics of that whole family.
I loved how dumb those bitches were.
Oh,
They were
so dumb.
comedic gold this
Yeah.
whole season.
yeah, I love it. And I cannot wait. I'm really sad that the season's over now.
I
Now I
know.
get why y'all were so mad last year
Thank
with
you.
the wait.
Yeah, and I think it's, what did they say, 2026 for the
Oh.
next season? Brutal. But I have also realized today, on a deep dive this morning when I was laying in bed, opened my eyes and I was like, what if I just open Google straight away? So good for the brain. My Google Alerts is exclusively about any Hunger Games updates, if that gives you any insight as to what's going on in my world. And there's a new book coming out, and it's coming out March 18th, 2025. And I did a quick count in my head. I was like, oh, that's only 8 months away. That's not even a full year. And so,
Okay.
which I know sounds like a long time, but
No, that's actually quite terrifying that March next year is only 8 months away.
I know. See, but
like
if
that.
you just get around the whole Hunger Games books and movies and, you know, the prequel as well, that frame of time is going to make you feel a lot better, I reckon.
Okay. I love it. Thank you so much. All right. Well, we love you guys.
We love you. Let us know your thoughts on Bridgerton. Again, best place to do it is the Patreon. Where, look, may I have some more celebrity gossip for you coming up in next week's episode? Absolutely.
Amazing.
Head on over.
Well, we'll see you guys next week. Also, justice for Britney. Justin Timberlake has been arrested.
God. Let's talk about that on the Patreon.
Yes,
Ad
let's do.
nauseam.
Let's do. Yeah. Love you guys.
Love you.